Today we are going to talk about health insurance and one of the critical components of health insurance, which is how to pick one health insurance for yourself, right? So if you are in the market to buy a health insurance, I'm going to give you some tips as to what you should take care of when you're buying a health insurance, right? So we will focus on one specific thing today, which is the room rent limit, which is the most important thing probably in a health insurance policy. You will find health insurance policy of different ranges in the market from different companies, right? So first thing you have to note is that you have to make sure that you are buying a health insurance company from a reputed company which has been in existence for at least 10 plus years in the market. They are backed by a strong group or their financials are very good, because when you buy health insurance, the company should have enough money on their balance sheet to pay your claims, right? So you ideally should not be going with a company which is a startup, right? Because startups are largely dependent on private equity companies, and if the funding dries up, then your health insurance may be in jeopardy, and then you will probably have to port it to another company, and you may not be able to port in case you're diagnosed with some issue, right? So always make sure that you start with a company which is reputed and has been in existence for a while. Now, how to pick one policy? So first thing that you need to focus on, and the only thing that you need to focus on, is probably the room rent limit, which is the most important thing apart from other things, right? So other things I have discussed in another video. I am sharing that in the link here. But what we are going to do is we'll focus on the room rent limit. So what I recommend is always pick up a policy without any room rent limit instead of picking up a policy with a single private room rent limit. Why do I say this? Okay, say for example, you have a policy with a single private room rent limit and you end up with a claim, and in the hospital in which you are in has five categories of single private rooms, starting from the lowest category to a deluxe or a very luxurious single private room category. So the lowest category of single private room may not even have an attached bathroom to it. This is quite possible, right? So then what happens is your claim will not be processed according to the category of room you are staying in. Your claim will only be processed according to the price of the lowest category of single private room. That's why it's important that you focus on making sure that you are buying a policy without any room rent limit. When you buy a policy without any room rent limit, what's going to happen is you will end up, you can stay in any room and your policy claim will be processed. Now you may ask that how will the insurer know that I stayed in the top category of single private room? How will they find out about it? They know everything because they have existing agreements with each hospital, right? So when they are doing this agreement, they agree for pricing of each of the category of room and each of the service that the hospital provide. So always be aware that the pricing for cash patients and pricing for insurance patients is completely different in hospitals, and there are different price charts for it. So be aware about it. Then secondly, you may think that okay, I may go for a reimbursement claim, or if I may go to a hospital which is not empaneled with the insurer, right? Even in such cases, the insurer will have history of claims from previous claims from the of such hospitals, or the insurer will first talk to the hospital and understand what kind of categories of rooms they have, and they will process the claims accordingly. So this is one of the most important factors when you are buying a health insurance. Make sure that uh, you are picking one without any room rent limit. Other things that you need to note when you are picking a health insurance is make sure that there are no co-payments, right? If you have a 20% co-payment, that means that 20% of the bill has to be footed by you. Make sure that there are no major sublimits in the policy. Always buy a policy which has a list of exclusions instead of a list of exclusions, because when you buy a policy with a list of exclusions, then what's get excluded, there is a very big, it's like a black hole and a lot of things can get excluded. So always buy one uh, with the list of set of exclusions instead of inclusions, right? Then you can look at the no claim bonus, you can look at pre and post hospitalization cover, you can look at the hospitals covered. Things like claim settlement ratio do not matter too much, to be very honest, because claim settlement completely depends on how honest you were at the time of purchasing your policy, right? If you were very honest in your disclosures at the time of purchasing your policy, then nobody can stop you from taking the claim. So these are some of the things that you need to make sure when you are buying the health insurance policy, but I wanted to focus and emphasize on room rent limit today. We'll talk about other things in future videos. I hope this was useful. Feel free to ask me in the comments if you have any questions, and look forward to future videos. Thank you.